Hello and happy Sunday. Yes, we're on a little bit late because the topics that we're talking about are very, very crucial. And so I do have some friends today. They've been guests before, they even have their own podcast and things. But I'm so grateful for my two guests today because they're in the trenches just like myself. And we work extremely hard at what we do, especially in terms of getting our scholars to HBCUs. We're all like hands on deck. And so as I bring them on, I just want you to know we really, really want you to be engaging today. If you look on the bottom of the screen, be a part of the conversation. You just have to give StreamYard permission or Facebook permission to bring you in to communicate with us. Today's our topic is about college bound. We know a lot of our scholars are coming home after their first, some of them first time being away. So we're going to touch a lot of sensitive subjects today. So communicate with us. We want it engaging. If not, trust me, I know with these two fellas, they always have a lot to talk about. So we have Mr. Sinclair is back. And we have Mr. Vince, who is always somewhere. So hey, fellas, what's hanging? It's Sunday.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm so excited that y'all gave like a little bit of time to be able to come on today. And like I did the I guess you would say the preview is that we are going to touch on some sensitive subjects. Example, kids about to start coming back home for the first time after being away for a full semester. And as I expressed offline, that is one of the times that most you lose the most students. And I was thinking it was more, males and females, but you said it was a mixture offline. So I'm like, yeah, we need to address that because we want them to go back. Don't get stuck in December, staying home. The goal is to get back to school. So what do y'all think about that?
Well, I personally, out of the 100+ kids we send to school every year, I have a retention rate of about 87%. 87% of the kids we sent to school do end up going back, and many of them do end up finishing. Now, whether do they finish within 4, that's another subject, but they do end up finishing.
Okay. I need to get it together. I'm touching all kind of buttons. There we go, y'all.
Part I think, and go into it with brother. The critical point is, and that is to go along with what brother Vince mentioned, is that it all starts at home. You prepare the students before they even leave. Of course, with today's society being that the students are coming in with somewhat of a different mindset, and I could even say, even though within the years when we were in school, the appreciation, the understanding, the commitment of why you're there has pretty much changed. So a lot of it has to do with your background, is how and what you understand you need to do and the purpose for going to school. So, we'll get into that and touch on some of the key aspects as that I relate to it as an HBCU recruiter from experiences talking to students individually, parents individually, and as a whole, as a family. So I won't say it's touchy. Monique, as you said, sensitive others, well, they might have some kind of banding appropriately, so we can go ahead and try to help them with the pain threshold.
Well, I said sensitive subject. I mean, because some people, I know, some scholars that I have sent is really rough. And even in my own experience, I could use that because that's something I know. When you come back that first semester and you try to acclimate yourself back in the same things and routines that you was doing before you went to school, to some kids, that transition, can make or break them, depending on their attitude. So that's why I said it's different.
Right. I mean, okay, let's all recall. Brother Vince, let's recall when we went off to school that first semester, came back for the holidays. Was it different or was that just growth?
Mm.
Think about it.
I think it was growth, but understand,
You
I
know,
was a non-traditional student when I went to Alabama State. I was in the Marine Corps for 5.5 years, even before I went to school. And
right,
please
right.
understand, the reason why I joined the Marine Corps was because my parents were so strict that when I got out of high school, I joined the USMC for freedom. I literally had more freedom
Right.
when I was in the Marine Corps than the 18 years living at home with my parents.
That's wow.
I can dig that. See, mine is the exact opposite. I went to the Marine Corps after my sophomore year at Grambling. So, but coming from a military family, I won't say we were strict, but I already my place was discipline was already there because my father being a career army man. So, again, it's growth. Brother Vince came in already matured. And on the flip side of that, Vince, you go in early, and I'm sure you can probably attest to. I went in mature, already having some years of college. So you came into the college arena mature. I went to the Marine Corps mature. So it all equated that when we got out, our skill, our temperament, the emotional level, our balance, I would like to say was a little bit far more than what the traditional student not having a military background is. But then again, that was the age from which we come from.
Right. My parents wasn't career military, but I'm the son of a Baptist minister.
That's worse.
So I might have a little tougher.
That's just the same. That's the same. That's the same, folks.
That is the same.
Right.
That's the same.
That's the same.
I mean, but that's a good thing to bring up that you both had said is that, if you come from a strict environment, when you get on campus, that freedom, is its own experience in itself. That, and I have, tracked some of my scholars and I'm like, okay, now, school is the reason why you're there.
And in order not to go home, you have to do what you need to do to stay there. Now, this is what I have seen. I have personally seen 1.7 GPA students, 1.8 GPA students, not a lot of accountability at home, get into this environment away from home and become 3.0 plus students. And I asked them, why is it, you did so bad in high school, but in college you excelling? And most of them said, well, for the first time in my life, I only have myself to be responsible for.
That's fair.
I don't have to go home and help raise little Ray and Peaches. They don't have to go home and actually run a household. Adolescent parents, they no longer have to be that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
Right.
I can see that.
You're accountable for yourself, which is what you want. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're accountable for yourself. You have the freedom. That's our key word today, Mo. That's our key word that Brother Vince mentioned. That's the word. Freedom to do what you think, whether you are 100% sure, and what you know to do, which is right. Again, like Vince said, you're coming home, you're a parent, you don't get a chance to enjoy some aspects of high school. And I guess on that regard, I was blessed because, a lot of us, when we speak of happy childhoods, I had a childhood, all the way through as far as I can remember. So again, we have to take that into consideration. Freedom definitely key.
Freedom
You know what
definitely.
you're saying, Brother Vince?
But I'm gonna pose this to both of you. This is what I'm gonna add. I know my freshman week experience was so fun. And something that I really, really want to ask you guys, freshman week, how many people couldn't handle the freedom and got sent back home?
Woo.
If you
Let me
look back,
take this one first, brother. I'm right there in that one. Let me tell you. And this is it's and I may be cruel for laughing about it, but because we're adults now and we
Right.
are the children of the the baby boomers, there's a entirely different mindset as far as our growth and what we learn compared to now with today's what are we on, Generation Z now, Mo? The siblings and sometimes even
right.
and sometimes
I lost
even the
track
children of so let me tell you how it is sometimes with us. Freshman week, it's very motivating. I'm also encouraged because I see the kids that I've recruited. So, they come up to me, my nephews, they give me a dap. I give them that uncle hug because Mo, you see me in action. We're family. It's the family environment. I'm your uncle. I'm an extension of your parents. And, I'm here to support you in any way I can. I'm another information resource. My nieces, I give a hug and encouragement too, because I have children myself, 2 of which are young adults, and one 13-year-old. So I know where you're coming from. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to see your parents. You guys are moving into campus housing. You go through a bit of an orientation to give you the information on what you need to know, your expectations as a collegiate student at an HBCU, a culturally diverse environment, historically made for us, by us, hashtag, but not hashtag FUBU. And so, you know what you are to expect. But that week afterwards, up to a month, some kids get sent home. And it's really for disappointing reasons because they came to the university, the children of overindulging parents that didn't share real life experiences, parents that, with the overindulgence, coddled them, intentionally or inadvertently didn't share the true information historically, culturally, financially. I can run down the gamut, but it shows because they get with somebody who, for example, might not have been in a household where they were coddled. They might have actually came from, if I can use the term, Brother Vince Mo, a blue collar environment where, like you said, Vince, they had to work. And so that you owe me, that elitism mentality that you will do what I say or you're not as good as I am, that hits the pavement right from jump. And sometimes physical altercations come through and ensue. And we got to send them back home because the overindulged student expects the student who might not have been overindulged to cater to them. That definitely was not popping.
Wow. I can see that. I mean, because there are people from various backgrounds and with the model of HBCUs, we'll meet you where you are. Some of them will meet you where you are and help you, help you grow and blossom to something greater. But so, I can see your point of view. Mr. Vince, what you think about it?
Well, I'm trying to think. I don't work with a lot of overindulged students. And even when I was there, I definitely didn't see a lot of overindulged. Now, mind you, we're talking about an era where overindulgement was just few and in between. We did not see it at all. Most of us came from similar background. I would say we all know that we wanted better than what we had. And we all knew we was there to create better than what we had. I just didn't see a lot of overindulgence. Do I see a lot of overindulgence now? Absolutely. But this type of overindulgence I don't understand. How could you be broke and entitled at the same time? That baffles me every time I see it.
That's the question, Brother Vince. That's
I have to tell
right.
him, like,
Yeah.
bro, you can't be.
Time out. You said you can't be broken and entitled at the same time.
No, but some of these kids I work with is definitely entitled, but they come from very humble means, but they're not humble.
True.
You know?
True.
Right. Yeah. And that's what yeah. And that's what I alluded to. Yeah. I didn't mean us, Vince, when we were coming up. I mean
Right.
today's students that we deal with. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I get it.
I just have to remember. I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to be
We gonna have to
or anything, but you do realize you're broke, right?
Well,
right.
Some of them, they get their graduation money and their graduation money, that scholarship refund check for the first time, and then this year they had the COVID check that was like a couple of grand. You put that in the hands of a person who never had that. I'm just saying. You're like, I remember them days. Yes, I sometimes wish I had the refund check.
It can lead to some. It can lead to some very interesting scenarios. Very interesting, and I love that quote. I have to use that, Brother Vince. You can't be. Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt for real, because the mindset. The mindset, and again, this is not just region, because I travel recruiting. It's very interesting because geographically it's a shared mentality. And I just look back because I work in an environment where it's actually, I'm a sociologist, so because I observe and I look, I ask you a question, I read your body language, I read your facial inflections, and I look at you to see how confident you are and if you know and you don't know. These students nowadays, they don't have enough wherewithal just to say, I don't know. And then they look at their parents, and then the parents will try to fudge something in there like they know it's cool. This is just a recruiting event. You don't have to know everything. I'm going to tell you one if you're willing to listen, but you're coming to me with expectations, and this is what really kills me. You come to me asking questions that I know good and doggone well you didn't ask that recruiter at the PWI. So when I give you the answer to it, you're standing there and either you look like I slapped you in the face or you get that deer in the headlight look. And I know good and well you didn't come up and ask Temple University that question. You didn't ask the U of M recruiter that question. You didn't ask the Mississippi State that question, but you will sure ask the HBCU recruiters that question. And then when we give you the answer, it's like, no, don't sit back and act that way. If you want to be funny acting, as the kids say, be funny acting across the board.
What?
No, they're not going to do that.
That's not going to happen. I mean,
their ice is colder. And I tell them about, especially the ones, the students that's interested in nursing, and it always baffles me. We have a school here that's supposed to be top notch in nursing, and it's like over $40,000 a year to go to Carlow College and Chatham College, and that's right here in my Pittsburgh area. And I suggest, well, Grambling have a nursing program, and if you with your GPA, they will even give you an out-of-state fee waiver.
Exactly.
So you have $15,000 a year, including room and board, before your Pell Grant.
Right.
They said, but
that's facts.
But what type of young lady, young man? The Grey's Anatomy book that they use at Harvard is the exact same Grey's Anatomy book that they would use.
Same book.
That they would use at Grambling. And then I would show them the nursing pass percentage is at 90+%.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to go to one of these schools here because you think because it's a PWI and it's better. Be close to $200,000 in debt for a $80,000 a year job. Or you could go to Grambling and be roughly around $32,000, $36,000 in debt for the same $80,000+ a year job. Now, I'm not no math whiz or anything like that, but I'd rather start off with negative 36 than negative 200K any day.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, but those are some of the things. I mean, Mr. Vince and Mr. Vince and Mr. St. Clair. Mr. St. Clair was here last week, and I know y'all hear me say that all the time about how HBCUs are treated in this area or not acknowledged in this area. He experienced it firsthand. I'm like, see, I can't make this stuff up. I mean, Mr. Vince, it was so like this last week that I had to reach out to a friend that owns a restaurant so we could have a meeting so he could talk to some students because their schools didn't allow it. And I'm not going to, name the school because that's just not the type of person I am. But I reached out to several schools and they all was like, oh, yeah. And then the day of the thing, no, we can't do it. Except for one lady because she said we already spoke to them. So it would just be pointless if we're going to get the same information. But at least she called it and was willing to do it. But that's the stuff we face. And I'm like, come on now. They need to address the elephant in the room. What's the issue?
I have more pushback with Black people when it comes to the promotion of HBC. Let's call it what this is. I'm not going to use no bad words. Let's call it what it is. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, let's
because I know you're a cusser.
These white supremacists and their coon surrogates. That's not a curse word. And their coon surrogates. Now they will send Ray to come out there and tell you, well, in my case, these kids don't want to go out of state. How did you know? Did you poll all of them? Did you talk to all of them? But yet Columbia, all these other white PW guys out of state, you don't come to them like that. And I'm trying to put them in a better financial situation, whether they finish or not. Because you all know 1 year at an HBCU will undo the damage of the 12 years of public school system.
That I know for a fact. I mean,
wasn't that a movie, Vince? Wasn't that a movie? 12 Years a Slave? Wasn't that a movie, Vince? No, wasn't that a movie?
It will undo the 12 years of the public education system.
It will.
We even have
an
organization in a city called NEED. They promote HBCUs only by doing a tour every year that costs anywhere from $700 to $900 per child. And that's what they do. Now the woman who runs the program had never even attended an HBCU. So how are you going to promote a culture and an experience that you yourself didn't even experience?
That's true, Miss Sparks. I agree. I love Miss Sparks. I should send her the link. I need to put her on here because she is a wealth of knowledge. And when she said
you gotta put my family on.
Did you see what she said though? In all of those, PWIs do not want most average students.
Not even an average student. Let's say the above average student, like your student Rain. He was above average student.
Say his name.
I didn't say his last name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was above average student.
Above average student, like really a scholar.
Yeah, like
those PWIs, and they had emotionally. First of all,
he's a
how are you going to excel in an environment where you're not wanted but you're tolerated? And half the time they barely tolerate.
Oh, Vince, tag me out. Tag me. This wrestling. Tag me, Vince. Tag me. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
I can't with y'all
Let me tell
today.
you what gets on my. Let me tell you what gets on my last D nerve.
Thank you for abbreviating. We're not cussing this Sunday.
Right, but I'm gonna put that emphasis on there. This is what proper King's English. This is what takes me aback when I am recruiting. Check this out, brother Vince Mo. When you have these pseudo black folks who, because they're trying to be hip, or they try to some kind of way satisfy their inner social ethnic heritage, they come to me and they ask me, how diverse is your HBCU? And that question always gets me. And my question is, well, how important is diversity to you? And I know where they're coming from. Again, you don't go to Baylor and ask that recruiter how diverse that. You don't go to USC's recruiter and ask how diverse their campus is, but you want to come to an HBCU and ask how diverse the program is. And I always tell them, at my university, we have over 40 countries represented. What are you looking for when it comes to diversity? And why are you so apt to diversify with a culture that doesn't want to diversify with you? You want diversity? Come learn the different niches, the different attitudes, the different quirks, the dysfunctionality of your own culture. And trust me, you will be able to deal with any type of diversity culturally across the board that you need to.
Wow. I think my wish
to say you have to be a minority to experience diversity. Most PWIs is 70-30, 70% white, 30% something else. Most HBCUs is the same.
Right.
Except you just not the minority. Why do you have to be the minority to discover diversity? And getting back to Mo's young man, when we got him into an HBCU, he's excelling.
Exactly.
He's on top of being the scholar that he should be, that he loves destined to be.
And but that's not like the only one. I have another one that he didn't even want to go to school, period. Actually, two. One didn't want to go to school, period, and he's at Russ excelling, like killing the game. And then I have another scholar that was featured when we was on Spectrum. Like, they did a story. He wanted to go to a completely different school. But when he got to, actually, he's at Prairie View. He won my the scholarship in honor of my sister this year. And he loves it. So, I mean, but it's like these parents. Oh, Miss Sparks, I put the link in if you want to. I'll watch the backstage for you because she said she want to be part of the conversation. I'm like,
Miss Sparks is coming. I always see Miss Sparks.
Come on, Miss Sparks.
I never actually had a conversation with Miss Sparks. I've seen her on a house party and whatnot.
Right, and I always see her, and she always send me lovely emails. But this conversation needs to be had. Like, I was really upset, like, last week. Even though, sometimes the right people need to hear the conversation. And the gentleman was really intrigued that he spoke to, but we could have covered so many masses if people would just get past, whatever feelings they in and expose the kids to HBCUs. Like, quit playing.
And why hide these opportunities? I believe there's a reason behind everything. Nothing is done on purpose. Like, for instance, we have what they call the Pittsburgh Promise, all right? Mm-hmm. Where every Pittsburgh public school kid will get, if you got a 2.5, you get $2,500, $5,000 a year to go to any state school. And they had this list called Preferred College and Universities. Now, the state of Pennsylvania have two HBCUs, Lincoln and Cheney. Mm-hmm. Neither one of those schools wasn't on a preferred college and university list. So me and Dr. Robinson went up there, and he speaks a lot. His grammar is much better than mine. He's more elegant than I am. He spent 25 minutes discussing this woman. Why is it that, or why Lincoln and Cheney should be on this list? and the message that it was given. So they still act like they don't understand. I just said, listen, either put Lincoln and Cheney on that list or change the language of it. This is the only time we're going to ask. Let's go.
Yeah.
2 months later, Cheney was on that list, and then Lincoln came on that list.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Miss Vanessa on here. I gotta get her. I'm gonna come out the screen, but I'm still here. You guys have probably started a serious conversation, but I really want to see.
No, and then my biggest hurdle, Mr. St. Clair, my biggest hurdle in recruiting kids to HB, a lot of times it's not the students. You know who it is? It's the
let me guess. Hold on, let me guess. What? You don't say. What? Let me tell you.
Man, and the first thing they say is, why so far? I said, wait a minute. You have raised your child for 18 years to prepare them to leave, and now you're going to harness them and just keep them in a first of all, this Pittsburgh is 13%. Let's say 13% black, okay? And most of these kids, I didn't even know black people had banks until I went down south. So in order to know better, you have to leave. You have to leave. Not only do I want them to leave the state, I want them to do a travel abroad program in another country. I'm saying, what if something happens to them? But what's going to happen to them? What if they get sick?
What do you right.
They got hospitals in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and Texas. So what's the problem?
We got plenty of them in Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
How am I going to get to them? Are you a doctor, man? No, I'm not. So even if you get to them, what are you going to do?
Look, Brother Vince, I've even had parents tell me when they get accepted, they're going to pick up the whole family and move them here to Houston.
Oh, yes, I heard that too. I hear that too. You don't know how many times I had to sit there and look at a woman's ass and just be raw, be like, man, if you would, at this stage in this child's life, you got to take your titty out their mouth. Let them go be great.
Right.
Yes, but yes, I think we could move down there. No, you're not moving down there.
For what? For what? It's disgusting how much our people, I won't say have regressed, are regressing. And as men, black men, we were raised and taught you got to know to grow.
Look,
I've had parents of these kids. Go ahead, Vince. Go ahead, brother.
You got until August to figure out what you're going to do, because come August, you have no home. We do not take care of grown folks. Yes. Now let me see what you could do out there on your own. Man, I said,
and that's the key. That's the key. What you can do on your own. Anytime I have a black male student, towering male, Brother Vince, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", athlete, mom is not even 6 feet. If she barely graced 5'8", she's doing well. Talking.
Oh, what about 5'2", 5'3"?
Talking for this kid, and I look at this kid like, are you gonna say something? And it's the mama doing all the talking. So, my reaction is, okay, well, I'm gonna give you a scholarship. He can keep his big butt at home because he obviously isn't on the same path with you when it comes to collegiate aspirations. And just sitting there. Now, he's supposed to be this big-time, citywide, all-state, all-American football player, but your mama talking for you. And then here we go. Down the game, Monique, Vince. When you do open your mouth, you want to ask me how my football program is. Wrong.
Right.
You don't bring me the grades. You're not stepping foot. You're not stepping foot in the Baby Dome or in that beautiful $65 million stadium I got.
Oh, and what really kills me
is not football.
Talk about athletes. There was this one student at one of our high schools. He's 100 and nothing, 5 foot nothing, talking about I want to go to the University of Kentucky. I'll go look at his huddles. I said, dude,
Lord.
you are not prepared to play in the SEC, the ACC, or the. First of all, I don't even think.
ACC, right.
In
All
fact,
right.
you're not even prepared to play D1 in the SWAC, the MEAC, or you're not even ready to play for the CIAA or the SEAC.
I can't with you.
Dude,
Right.
Well, Miss Vanessa is. I'm about to bring her on. I don't know. I was trying to see if her camera was working, but
Miss Sparks.
yeah, Miss Sparks is in the building. Y'all done reveled up. Like I said, what happened?
Miss Sparks, I know what she secured a bag because she donate to every school.
She showed that. I was like, she is on here. Miss Sparks.
There's my brother from Texas, Mr. St. Clair. How are you?
Oh, she on this one.
How you doing, family? I love you. I'm glad to see you. Hopefully, we'll get to see you.
I shared this with a number of people. This is like the best conversation. So needed. Listen, my daughter is a CAU alum. She started in 2000, and I had people here that said, you sending your daughter, letting her go all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, you not there. I said, let me tell you something. If she's gonna act a fool, she can act a fool living right in my house under my nose. It's my job to trust that what I poured into her, she takes with her.
That's true.
I raised mine.
I said, listen, you cannot, I said, if you think you're gonna stop a child from doing something because they're up under you, you're wrong.
That's facts.
Mr. St. Clair, I love him so much because he keeps it all the way funky.
He does.
Last year, Mr. St. Clair, you remember when me and Tammy did that whole event for New York City area guidance counselors, and you came on? He was part of it.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a guidance counselor the next day email me, and I called her. Now check this out. She was from a charter school in New York City. She made it very clear. She let me know all quick that she was a University of Chicago graduate. And so I'm listening to her because I kind of know which way this conversation is going. She says, well, I have a student here who is from a single parent household. Her mother only makes $9,000 a year. Listen to this. And she gave me her stat, and she's interested in Norfolk, but she would have to pay out of pocket. I said, ma'am, I don't know who's lying, you were there. I said, but if you telling me this girl got I think she said a 1300 SAT with a 3.7 GPA, and her mom only make $9,000 a year, she is not paying a dime at Norfolk State.
She is not, and they lied.
I said,
and about 50 other schools too.
And this was a black guidance counselor.
Purple and gold color.
I said,
exactly.
She said she began to tell me, you know, how she was black and she was from New York and she was recruited. I think she went through not the Posse, but Quest was one of the other programs, and she was at the University of Chicago. I said, well, let me ask you something, because I could be petty, Miss Monique.
Oh no, I can be too. I understand.
I said, well, listen to this. I said, I know what the University of Chicago is. So you explain to me how you graduated from the University of Chicago. You working as a guidance counselor in charter school. I said, because you don't go to the University of Chicago to graduate and work as a guidance counselor in the charter school.
Facts.
Silence. I don't let them come at me about HBCUs. I said, I said, I said, because and especially let me tell you here in New York, they tell our students to go to CUNY and SUNY. Now, the SUNY schools, state universities, you know there's only one located in New York City.
That's Southern University of New York, right?
That's FIT. That's the only state university campus located in the city of New York. Many of our kids here in New York City do not understand New York City is not New York State.
Okay.
New York State is very different than New York City. There are places that still have active Ku Klux Klan chapters.
Oh wow.
So what happens is those schools
Yeah.
recruit from New York City because they need New York City. This is where all the kids are at. And they recruit them to those campuses, and those kids absolutely, it's a mess. They don't get what they need. There are many cases of harassment, all sorts of things. They don't care if they graduate.
Wow.
I said, and many of them, because their parents make $1 over 5, they don't qualify for any state aid.
Wow.
So to go to a SUNY school, and if you are a New York State resident, to go to a 4-year SUNY school, it's about $27,000 a year. That's just a New York State rate.
Wow.
And so, you know, we are trying to retrain guidance counselors and others here in terms of educating them about HBCU. But I'm glad you said something about some of these kids. I got to use that term. You can't be broke and entitled at the same time.
Man.
I have never seen kids that don't have 2 nickels rub together.
I'm telling you, them bars right there, the brother Vince spit them straight 16.
I've never seen. Listen, I've even said to some kids, I said, you do know you poor, right?
That's that entitlement that some of them just don't want to accept. I don't get it.
Understand that you're poor. I said, listen, stop stunting and fronting.
Facts.
I stop stunting and fronting.
Stunting and fronting.
But you know, but I look at it, a lot of times it's the parents that put batteries in these kids' back. It's not even the kids.
Yeah.
I have kids that want to go to HBCUs, and it's the parent. Oh, I don't want them to go so far. And like you said, what if something happens? I said, they shoot people on the streets of New York every day. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I said, the kid would probably be safer on that campus than they would be walking most of the streets of New York City. So listen, we got a new mayor that'll be coming. And he has said during his campaign, in an effort to get more teachers in our system, particularly Black teachers, he is going to actively be looking at recruiting from HBCU. So we're going to hold him accountable here in New York City for that. Brother Eric Adams. So I'm looking forward to a better relationship between our school system and the HBCU family.
Let me ask you something, Mr. St. Clair.
Oh yeah, you know I'm gonna be here to help.
Get to what Ms. Sparks was saying. In this city, we have a lot of white counselors, white guidance counselors. Could you guide a demographic that you do not identify with? Is that even possible?
Wow.
But that's a good question. And actually, we need to statistically, we need to find that, because they don't understand, just because, you know, you're in a school system, even if it's a school where our kids are the minority majority, you're not from where they're from. There's no way that you can utilize or even be acceptably taken in by the culture when you don't know anything that the student is going through. You don't know any of their struggles. You don't know the hardships. Hell, have you asked how the student was doing today, knowing the plight that the kids are going through today amidst this COVID situation? Statistics have shown that the suicide rate is up from 18 to 24-year-olds. I forgot, what was the percentage on that, Mo? Like 48%? So when it comes to you socializing and doing what you're supposed to do, advising for the kids, Brother Vince, we definitely statistically need to get that number, because, and I'm going to put it out on the board, you have no excuse for not being able to get in contact with us. Again, you can contact me, and I can put you on board with the majority of the HBCUs. So contact, that's a minor hurdle that we can overcome. And I put it out there.
Well, I told you.
We're here.
I had a superintendent from a school district sat there with a straight face, said, I got 2 African American kids, so I understand where you're coming from. I had to say, I ain't gonna say her name, but I had to say I respect her.
Please,
Hope did not come from a brother bending you over on a Buick. You just don't get it don't get injected like that.
Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. I mean, but it's I can't even respond to you right now, Mr. Vince, because I know you're serious. But it is frustrating, and it's really more frustrating when you're an HBCU graduate. And I'm not gonna put the school on blast. I'm not, because I'm just not that type of person. But at a school, I did a bulletin board of HBCUs, and the teachers walk by every 2 minutes. Well, what does that mean? And I was good that day because I didn't, be sarcastic. I didn't say anything smart. I was like, well, just read about it, But that's what we facing here.
Intimidated. Let me tell you something. I have learned that these guidance counselors, it's not that they're as ignorant as they claim to be. Okay. Many of them are intimidated because what HBCUs are able to do is to take a student that has a 2.1, a 2.0 GPA, and absolutely transform that student. And listen, my godson went to Clark Atlanta University. My daughter and I served as his guidance counselor because when he went to his guidance counselor and said he wanted to apply to Clark, that woman told him that school isn't even accredited. Wait a minute, this is before I retired. Now, Mr. St. Clair know me enough to know that I was real loud. He called me, I was at work. Right. I said, call your mama, tell her to call the school. You're giving me permission to speak. When I called that guidance counselor, and I was very nice, but I ripped her, you know what, meaning. Wow. But at the end of the conversation, this is what I said to her. What about the kid that doesn't have someone in his family that they can go and verify information with? And you have given misinformation. What about that kid? My godson knew enough, said, I'm going to call my godmother. Wow. But what about the kid that doesn't have anybody? Can you imagine how many kids have been given misinformation and they have no one in their immediate circle to run it by, to verify the accuracy, and it just goes on?
And it gets ignored, and that kid is out. That's not fair.
That's why I fight so hard here, because there was so. My daughter was very fortunate, because she was in a public school here in New York City that had a Black principal and a Black AP that were huge proponents of HBCU, and so she didn't have that conundrum. But she had many friends that went to other schools that did not have that. And I can tell you that I have acted for the past 21 years as an unofficial guidance counselor, where I have had to intervene at the school level, at the superintendent's level, about misinformation that's given to students. So, it's the same thing I know goes on in Texas and in Pittsburgh. And we just got to keep fighting. But see, they don't know I'm a girl from South Jamaica, Queen, Holla, the land of 50 Cent. We like to fight. So I'm always up for a good fight. And so,
wow.
I mean, but this is the kind of foolishness that we have going on. Listen, I just talked to a young man today that lives in Florida. 3.6 GPA, 1060 on the SAT, and you know what his guidance counselor told him? It was too late for him to apply to college.
No, it's not.
No, you don't have to worry, because after me and another person, he will be applying to Prairie View as well, Mr. St. Clair, because I had him put it on the list. So he's going to update his website to put Prairie View on the list.
But Ms. Sparks, I'm glad you said that, because Mr. St. Clair seen it firsthand here. I know I get on the HBCU house party, I get on my podcast, I get on everything, and I say the same thing. But that's real talk here. You can walk five schools and you won't see that acknowledgement. And the kids, they just don't. They want to know, but they're being blocked and not being allowed to get the information.
Mo, let me tell you, Brother Vince and Miss Sparks, when I was at the Sardine, what day was that, Mo? Thursday, when I was at the
I think it was
Sardine.
Thursday because we went to a Chicago bite. You met with the two students that day too.
But yeah, I was there, and it was so disenchanting, Vince, Miss Sparks. As many of us that were there, as far as parents, they saw the few HBCUs that were there. Because I'm always in the house, especially here in my home state, Vince. My sister was always in the house, and we try to make sure that the other 7 HBCU family members, the 9, are always available. Because I always tell students, I can help you get in the prayer, get in the Texas Southern. I can help you get in the HBCU. It also helps HBCUs to be present. Kids, Vince, Miss Sparks, Mo, can see us. That's definitely important when it comes to our students. Why do I have parents walking past us looking like we didn't even exist? I had one student come up to me. Now, of course, Prairie View, to give you a little history, Vince, we're the only HBCU that's in the Texas A&M school system. We're in that umbrella, but we are a totally independent school. One question that I always have to answer is, why do they put Texas A&M in Prairie View? So I always have to correct them on that. Prairie View, A&M University. And then when they see us amidst Big Brother, whether it's Texas A&M, the university, Texas A&M Commerce, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, all of the family institutions, umbrella, they again come to me as if I'm the one with the big round mole on the middle of his forehead. What is this about? Excuse me? I'm telling you, Mo, I had to do like you did. I got to go back. I had to count to 3. I got to do like Martin and Martin and Will Smith did in Bad Boys. Woo-saw. I got to collect myself. But we speak with our face as well. You see my inflections. What do you mean? What is this? And I have to collect myself, and then I have to understand and remember, like we all just said, God bless the child that ain't got it, not had his own, but ain't got it. You really don't understand. And then you look at the parent, and the parent is shadowing the student's expression. They don't know. Oh my God, where have y'all been? There are 9 HBCUs in the state, and you're not familiar?
That's true.
Wow.
That's right.
That's true. And we just have to do better.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. And I was so upset. I think I told Vince Wednesday before we even did house party. I said, Vince, I'm trying not to respond like you because I know you radical. You don't. I'm trying to have a little tact.
We can roll. Absolutely. I mean, but the arrogance of these guidance counselors. And wait a minute, and let me just tell you, some of these guidance counselors have barely made it out of college themselves. At least the ones here, a lot of
barely. Exactly.
I mean, barely. I mean, listen, we have a college access program here in New York City that has a 5-year, $5 million per year grant.
Wow.
With the state of New York to provide counseling to New York City public school guidance counselors in the area of college access. Not one module is on HBCU. So I brought it up to the prior chancellor. Oh. They didn't even know that they didn't have that in their module. I said, but y'all giving them $5 million a year.
Wow.
Oh, tell them to call one of us. We will gladly
send them what?
To do the HBCU
That's a $25 million contract. And
call me because I can help.
And when a group of us met with the chancellor, I presented the syllabus to him. I said, not one module here they have is dedicated to HBCUs. I'm going to ask for all of you guys, because I am radical like Mr. Vince. Mm-hmm. There's an organization here in New York called CAGNY, which stands for the College Access Consortium of New York. And what it is, it's a consortium of guidance counselors, college access programs, and colleges. in and out of New York State. I really am going to get the information because I want you guys to join. Because there has
Yeah, you
been
know I got you.
there's been no, and let me just tell you, there's been a group of us here in New York. I have to shout out the HBCU Hub, which is the only Black-founded, Black-run college access program in the city of New York, solely dedicated to getting students into HBCU. Okay, the only one. And they're found in Nicole Barnwell, myself, and there's a couple of us that every month we are saying to them, when is there going to be an overview or presentation on any HBCU other than, the obvious ones here that, the obvious. And so one of the things is we have to get you guys to join it.
I'm right here in Pittsburgh, Miss Sparks. You ain't nothing but 6-7 hours away from me.
Listen, I'm retired now. I can run all over the place. Only thing that before was COVID. And let me tell you, truth be told, Monique, the only reason why I didn't make it to Cleveland last weekend was because my mom was sick.
Oh, okay.
Because I think we have to start pulling ourselves together on a national level. Because all of us, this is going on in all of our cities. And we're, it's not in isolation. And I think we're much mightier when we pull together. This is going on in Pittsburgh. It's going on in New York. It's going on in Cleveland. It's going on in Detroit. It's going on all over. And to let these people know, we don't operate in silos. We are a very strong family. But I really want you guys, and I will get the information to all of you on CAGNY, CACNY, about joining. Because
I'm game. If it's not,
yeah, definitely get it too. Yeah,
create awareness because that's what needs to happen.
Definitely, we're definitely there.
Yeah, we done went. We done went almost to an hour.
Those alum and those. We have to get the alum on board and the other recruiters here. We definitely got you, Ms. Sparks. Just let us know, get the information, and we're there. Because again, as we were talking, we got to get on this because what we're facing is something that is truly, it's not even unavoidable. It's something that doesn't even have to exist. It's that stigma again, like Brother Vince said. They want to go about acting as if they have something and don't have that pot to do that in and the window to throw it out of. And then again, our ice ain't as cold as the white ice. So you definitely have to tackle that. We definitely have to.
That today, I told people it was going to be a unique topic that they might not, we usually be all, walking through the meadows happy, but I got upset.
This ain't the first. This is the first one. Yeah.
This is the first one. I
just
got so upset.
This will get serious.
Miss Sparks, Mr. Vince, I got so upset because I was like, really? That's how they going to do you? You a recruiter and they doing you like that. Like I was outdone. And, I'm just so grateful that, he was able to work with the Willing, but it's just the principle of the matter. You ain't doing nothing the last day before Thanksgiving break, so quit playing. You can have this man come up here for 30 minutes and talk to your kids who possibly could have walked out of there with a scholarship and an acceptance. Like, quit playing. So that's...
I would like to know, I know organizations like ours. I know the Cleveland Council of Black Colleges, ABC Youth in San Antonio. I know there's another organization like ours in Muskegon, Michigan.
It is.
I would like to see
it's one in Detroit, my home. Yep.
There's one in
the of us is there out there, and is there a way we could have a conference?
I'll set it up. I can find it because it needs to be done.
Where all the HBCU advocates,
let's set it up.
Could get together, and I'm talking about real.
We gonna set it up, Vince, because
that's a necessary.
Right. Let's get it going.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at.
Get it going.
It has to be done, and I'm glad
yeah,
that this
I'm with
conversation
you.
is had. I'm glad, I had to call on my brother and my friends today, and I'm so honored that Miss Sparks was like, "I'm coming on, tag me in,"
But
Because
yeah,
the reason why I'm saying that,
I'm with you
I
1,000 there,
I
Vince.
just sent you the email, Mr.
no, I'm
Vince.
saying,
You can
imagine
get
if, go
Yes,
ahead, I'm sorry,
the
Ms. Sparks.
email. I will send you the email. I
Oh, I
sent
got it. So
Like
no,
the problem that you have in Texas,
Go ahead, Brother Vince.
like the problem that you having in the schools in Texas, if you had the support of 6 more other people that is surrounding your city to go in with you to address those issues, I think more will get done. I think we can do more in numbers than we could by ourselves, because the same struggles you having in Texas, I'm having in Pittsburgh. Miss Carson is having it in Muskegon, Michigan, and I'm willing to bet you that Cleveland Council is probably having the same issues too.
yeah, I mean, and it is.
Right.
It is really like, it's frustrating, but I do want to say, it was one school, and only reason why they said no is because they had already spoke to Mr. Sinclair at one of the college fairs, but at least she called. Don't sit there and play games like, oh yeah, they can come, and then the day of and say no. But it was only one school, Sam Houston, and they still willing to work, which I really do appreciate that. But some of these other ones, I'm like, if your motto is, get everybody to college, you're not including everybody if you're not giving us a fair chance at the table. So,
no. Especially when I can gather other. Look, and here's the challenge. Look, I'm gonna help you, Mo. Especially when I can get the other HBCU family recruiters there with me. You have no excuse.
Exactly.
And these foundations
10 toes down with most.
Now, if these other nonprofit organizations had the same outcomes and outputs that I have, man, these foundations would throw money at them. I had a foundation tell me, like, hold on, we don't fund college fairs. I said, I'm more than a college fair. You know I'm more than a college fair. We do this every day, and we got an MOU with the schools. Well, they're just not into it because they like to see outcomes and outputs. I sent you, we put over 100 kids, send 100 kids to school every year, and you have those outcomes. Well, it ain't just outcomes. If you don't want to fund the organization, say, I don't want to fund your Black RAN, your Black post-secondary advocate. Just say that. I will respect you more if you would say that, because every box that you have, I'm more than checked.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. But I think honestly, the other thing too is they don't know. Most people are afraid of what they don't know.
I even had one foundation offer me $150,000, but I will have to include all schools. I said, but that's not our mission. Well, this is the only way we can fund it if you include all schools.
I get that.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, they were surprised. Man, listen, I will continue to do this for free before I change my mission for your 30 pieces of silver. I mean, I've been well off and I've been broke, but I've been happy either or.
Well, we definitely have to bring the gang back together, because I really think we are not finished with this type of conversation, whether it be on the podcast or whether it be on a Zoom meeting, because this is something that has to be addressed. Like, playtime is over. And I know Mr. Sinclair, he probably was like, well, she's so friendly and so nice. And she was smiling. And I really did enjoy the meeting, but I was really upset, because I'm like, really? That's how we doing, people, in 2021? Like, I thought this stuff shouldn't even be happening still.
And even in this city, they got.
Well, see, I'm so used to that, Mo. That's why.
Running Black white people running nonprofit organization for black youth. And I asked this white guy that runs a nonprofit organization that mainly service black youth.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, let me ask you something, Steve. Is there a man that looked like me that's the executive director of the Jewish Youth Center in Squirrel Hill?
Oh,
He
wow.
said, no. And I said, but yet there is a slew of y'all in this city that is running nonprofit organization that's supposed to help black kids. What makes y'all that expert?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yet it's crazy to hear about a black person working for the Jewish Youth Center.
Wow.
You're right. And they get mad funds for it, Vince. That's what kills me. They have access to funds that could be properly utilized in the right organizational hand.
Exactly.
I honestly did more with 50,000 than they do with 3 million.
Well, I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
various reasons, and that'll go into a whole different conversation. But
So that's another one.
So I am definitely gonna bring you guys back so we can discuss some more. You know, we just gonna have a series of conversations because this is really needed, and I hope it helps some of our parents. I hope it helps some of our sponsors to understand, like, you know, our heart is in what we do.
Absolutely.
You know, yes, I like to smile, I like to laugh, I like to have fun, but when it comes down to my scholars getting into schools, or it comes down to some of these schools not allowing other scholars to go where they truly want to go, you know, haven't even said
Or they
parents
need to go?
or need to go.
Or need to go, yes.
You know, because
Right.
there are some that, you know, you don't want to go somewhere where you just have to, like you said, be tolerated. No.
I mean, any seed will grow in soil. No, any seed. But a seed that's in soil with the right nutrients is going to grow stronger.
Exactly. And y'all touched on it today. Like you said, 12 years of 1 year at the HBCU will make up for 12 years of traditional education.
The K through 12 public school system.
But that's facts. I mean, and I ain't ashamed to talk about me ever. I did not know algebra or math until I got to Wilberforce. I had a room.
People say maybe he was a bad student, but what if he had bad teachers? Nobody never addressed that.
Right.
I'm telling you, I did not.
Or let's take it even deeper. What is a bad student? Let's take it that way. Let's get to the basic rudimentary. What is a bad student?
That's true. That's true. I mean, but like all of us on here, you know, we flourished in our different environments. We did, you know, we got to that school. It made a difference, made a change. And that's why I guess I get so upset and in my feelings and be like, wait a minute, you're not going to disrespect any of the schools.
Right.
Yeah, I love my alma mater, right. But I take up for all 100 and something of them. Like, I play no games with them.
I mean, I can talk about Wilberforce. I can talk about Grambling. But if you ain't part of this family, don't you dare say a word about neither of them.
Facts.
Right.
You go sit in the kiddie chair like Thanksgiving Day. You go sit over there. But no, I have truly enjoyed you all. So I'm going to go around the screen. And what will be your push, you know, to start making this awareness possible? Because I'm telling you, Mr. St. Clair seen firsthand last week what I deal with every day. So what can we do? What's your push or your thing that you're going to do to make things happen as far as this advocacy?
Who's first? Who you asking first?
You could go first, Mr. Vince.
Miss Sparks, you go for ladies first.
Miss Sparks can go first.
What I'm going to do is continue what I've been doing. I am a student financial aid mentor, and every time I have an opportunity, even when I'm called upon to do a financial aid workshop, I work the topic of HBCUs into that conversation. I will continue to work with families and students one-on-one and in groups. On a bigger level, I am really pushing here within the New York City Department of Education to get more training for guidance counselors to assist students that are interested in HBCU, and even introduce them to HBCUs that they don't know about.
That's
I'm
good.
very optimistic with our new administration that it'll be a little easier.
That's good. I guess it's on you, Mr. Vince.
Well, one, I would like to see one. I'm curious how many other people that's out there that is like us, and I would like to get with them so we can share funding resources. Because the truth of the matter is, these white foundations do not care
Right.
about our kids going to these post-secondary schools, HBCUs. They do not care. They're not interested in it. But they do want the illusion of inclusion. And I'm not interested in playing that game. But I would love to find some Black foundations and other funding resources that will fund organizations like ours. And I would like to meet other people like myself that's in the HBCU advocacy business so we can share information.
That's good. Mr. St. Clair. Uh-oh. I hope he's not frozen. Mr. St. Clair.
That dollar.
Ms. Sparks, I'm going to make sure I keep that bond on my end with the recruiter family as we do. And I totally support what you were saying, bro, Vince. Let's find these other HBCU advocacy programs. Let them, where they say all my entrepreneur endeavors are tied to HBCUs, as you can see. And so we have to come together collectively so you can, as you mentioned, we get some of these funding resources. We can provide exposure to these kids. For the kids that need scholastic help, we can supply that, because at the end of the day, we have to carry on with how we were brought up in the HBCU culture. This is a family institution. If your students need help, we can provide that. Yet we know a closed mouth doesn't get fed. But when they speak on it, they have the alumni associations that they can fall back on. They can fall back on us, their kinfolks at the HBCUs, to help get them there. And then we move forward, because collectively we have the power. Again, we just have to get them, like you said, Vince, come together, get calls, continue with the other phases of this topic so we can begin and continue to educate and keep it moving forward. We just now have to transform and move out, as our favorite cartoon used to say.
Lord, you didn't say
Let me piggyback on Mr. St. Clair. We have a lot of athletes that's affluent, entertainers that is affluent, and they constantly giving money to these HBCUs, and some of them need them. Some of them get a whole lot of money and they don't necessarily need them. And I will say, like, for instance, when Dr. Dre contributes $75 million to USC, right at the same time when we was losing St. Paul. I mean,
right.
USC didn't want the money.
We had already lost Concordia. Right.
Yes, we lost Concordia down there.
And they didn't even need it. Their endowment. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's that, a 7-day event at school?
These are the
Can I say something?
And these are the folks that got to where they are with us supporting them. And you went and that's a whole nother conversation on my feelings.
And I'm just saying, they get even some of these
I want to
Miss
say
Sparks is trying to say something
about funding. As much as we hold athletes and entertainers, we want their money, we have to also encourage us to take care of us.
That's true.
My father used to have a saying, if a man can determine if you eat, that same man can determine if you starve.
Wow.
And
that was to go to my point that I was trying to finish. But
I'm taking it.
As our colleague said the other week, If everybody give a little bit,
Nobody
have to give a lot.
I remember that. That was, yeah. Well, you guys, I don't even want to end it because this conversation is so intriguing and much needed. What I plan to do, I know you all know that I value my mentor and he always give me next steps and things to do because I was really upset. Like, there's no secret. I was upset how things went down last week with far as exposing, and we had college fairs, but you're not really exposing kids to HBCUs. I had a problem with that. So my challenge was to reach out to the HBCU that we have here and see what can be done. If it's a 2-year school, we could do two plus two. Send them to other HBCUs, build that network. So that's my next task. And I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to silence myself. I'm going to continue to try to make things happen. So I truly appreciate you, Mr. Vince, Ms. Sparks, hopping on here, and my brother from another mother, Mr. St. Clair. I truly appreciate everything that you're doing. But like you said, it's strength in numbers. And playtime is over. So we gotta get this done. So I will probably be blowing y'all emails up. I'm off this week. So therefore, yep. We gonna strategize and get this done. Because I know some of them here in Texas. And I'm gonna just like, look, we gotta get it done. No more excuses. So thank you guys for coming. To our people, please like, share, comment. And we will definitely have another roundtable discussion with the same people, probably some other advocates. But I know if you didn't catch us on the live, watch us on the replay, and we will be watching the comments as well. So thank you, Mr. St. Clair. Thank you, Mr. Vince. And it's funny because we all are in different cities and states and experiencing the same issue. So we can't be making this up.
It's interesting, but it's disappointing. Disappointing at the same time. So it just lets you know the gravity of the beast and the impact that we have to attack.
Facts. It's facts. And so, yes, that's why I gave the disclaimer before. I'm like, we're not going to talk about our usual topics. You know, Ms. Mo a little upset, but I know, what they say, a setback is a comeback waiting to happen. So, yes, we are going to make sure that we over communicate about our schools and we over communicate about opportunities that our scholars can have. So thank you guys for watching. We have enjoyed you this day. We went a little longer, but it doesn't matter because I paid a bill. But it was a much needed conversation. See y'all on
first of many. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yes, first of many. I mean, I guess next time we could talk about relationships because that's something that hold people back from college too. But I ain't gonna start nothing else. So I will see you guys. I see Vince on Wednesday. Mr. St. Clair, I will see you. And I do apologize how things went down. While
you're not going to promote my little bitty show with my little 3,700 followers. That's okay, no.
No, Mr. Vince, what day is your show on? I'm so sorry.
You know what day it's on.
Tuesday.
There you go. Yes, Tuesday.
Please support my good friend in Western Pennsylvania. His show is on Tuesday, but he really not paying attention.
The HBCU Power Hour.
HBCU Power Hour, where he highlight admission counselors and they talk about the school and good content. We have all these opportunities where you can learn about our nation's HBCUs. Quit saying the information isn't there. If they don't get it to you, go find it.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Go find it.
You them TikTok singers.
What is Clark Atlanta slogan? What did they say down there at Clark Atlanta? We either find a way or we will make
it happen. Yeah. See, I didn't say find a way. I said go get it. Yeah. Like, it's opportunity. So
we gonna get it.
Go get it. They don't give you.
Go get it.
What they say, they don't give you a seat at the table. You pull up your own chair and invent it. Like, it's enough of that. Quit saying HBCUs are party schools. That's a myth. But we need to do that Mythbuster presentation like live. Mm-hmm. So for real this time, we'll
talk about that on the next one too.
We are out for real. I'm sorry. Y'all usually don't hear me talk like that passionate. So, but it need to be said. Like, share, comment. Catch us on Wednesday. I honestly don't even know the schools that's going to be there Wednesday. I think it's Winston
North
Salem.
Carolina Central and Western
Winston
Salem.
Salem. Thank you. See, that's why you my friend, because you keep me together. So we shall see you guys on Wednesday. Also, please read the newsletter. I did send it out. If you didn't get it or need it, leave me your email in the link. Have a good Sunday.
Peace.
Are we still live?